The absurdity of magazine restrictions, New Jersey State Police playing games with the Second Amendment, and our special guest, John Petrolino. This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Wos. The idea of magazine capacity limitations is laughable on its face, which is why a recent court determined that banning magazines that hold over 10 rounds to be unconstitutional. The recent Benson v. United States decision in March of 26 by the D.C. Court of Appeals struck down Washington, D.C.'s 10-round so-called large capacity magazine ban as unconstitutional under the Second Amendment. Now, first of all, just the idea that we've dealt with these types of bans for any length of time is a testament to the irrational lawmaking of anti-gun politicians. What's the justification for magazine capacity restrictions? Well, anti-gun lawmakers will argue that it prevents death somehow. All it really does, and what it really is specifically designed for, is to limit the defensive use of firearms by lawful American gun owners. They just won't tell you that. For anyone to believe that magazine capacity restrictions stop criminals from committing acts of violence, you would also have to believe that the criminal would obey the magazine law. Seriously, how long are we going to pretend that someone who's willing to kill in cold blood will obey a state magazine capacity restriction? At a certain point, you start to realize that not only do Democrat governors and legislators want to protect criminals with early release and bail reform laws and things like that, they also want to restrict the ability of lawful American citizens to be able to defend themselves against the bad guys that they're protecting. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with... He's not a violent man. He just likes to choke a liberal every now and then. Anthony Diso. And we're also very happy to have on the show today Second Amendment advocate and author, the pen patriot, John Petrolino. Johnny P., welcome to the show.
How's everybody today? Anthony?
Mm-hmm. What?
See, people know. See, people
I'm asking
don't know
you how you doing, face. So I don't know.
See,
Maybe
people
we
don't know
should
the banter
that
before we go on.
There's your.
Did he
there's your
just swear,
sizzle
Danny?
reel.
He's fired.
He did. We'll have to bleep that out.
Beep.
Leave that out.
You son of a monkey.
You want to? How about we do this? How you doing, guys? Great to see you. Great to be here. Thanks, Dan.
No, we're going to keep the first part, Johnny.
Yep. We're going to beep it out with a
It's too good. It's too good. Well, I mean, people know we've been friends now for a while. We tend to we'll entertain friendship with somebody from Jersey, right? I mean,
yeah, why not?
You're not a nice person.
No, so that's why we get to joke around like that. But yeah, Johnny P., we're very happy to have you on the show. Let's start with magazine capacity restrictions, and just okay. So we all, I'm sure we all agree it's just absurd. But what's the real underlying reason why they want magazine capacity restrictions?
If you're asking me, I'm going to say that this is just slices of the salami. So this is how they take our rights away. They're not going to try to take it all away at one chunk. So if you, Dan, if you have a salami and I said, hey,
I do.
give
Thank
me
you.
your salami. And, you're going to be like, I'm not giving you my salami. I said, well, how about you give me a slice of your salami and then another slice and another slice, because you're a giving, caring person.
Yeah.
I think that magazine capacity restrictions and a lot of all of these other restrictions that are just arbitrary, because does it matter? Is it 10? Is it 5? Is it 15? Is it whatever? It's just a slice off of the salami, and any more way that they can restrict. I mean, the end game is to restrict it down to 1 and then ultimately speaking 0. And that's the way I see it. This actually has very little to do on the big picture with public safety. There might be some misguided people that think that this will aid in public safety, but ultimately speaking, it won't.
I think you're right. On one hand, they're trying to, what do they say? Death by a thousand slices or 1,000 cuts or whatever they call it. And so that's what they constantly looking for, the next thing. Even if it's a little thing they can attack with respect to our Second Amendment, they'll do it. I also take it from a different perspective. I watch the way these Democrats let bad guys out of jail. I watch how they create bail reform, and these people can do just about anything. And it seems like the Democrats want to keep them in society, want to keep them part of our functioning society. And the only thing those people bring is a bad element, a dangerous element, and it puts good people at risk. You would think by now they would understand that it's important that we protect the good people, let them defend themselves, and keep a good close eye on the bad guys and put them in jail when needed. Keep them in jail. But they don't. They do the exact opposite. And this is the thing that really, once you see it, it's hard to unsee. The Democrats, will encourage violence by all these special treatments, all these left-wing judges who let them out and all this stuff. They kind of encourage the violent element of society, and then they do everything they can to restrict the good guys' ability to defend themselves from the violent actors. And magazine capacity is just one new way that they do it. If I'm being attacked, I might need more than 10 rounds. And but they're telling me I can't do that. So they're limiting my ability to defend myself while letting the bad guys out of jail. To me, it looks like they're trying to create a victim predator society for whatever political reason. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it definitely does create that victim predator society. And one of the things that I think is very dangerous that the Anti-Freedom Caucus is kind of putting back out there is a statistic that says, well, most violent encounters are ended in maybe 2 shots and occur anywhere between 5 to 7 yards. And that's fine and dandy if you're looking at the statistics and the numbers. But what about the other end of those bell curves? What if you do need 10 rounds? What if you do need 15 rounds? What if you need 20 rounds? What if the guy comes with a friend? What if he comes with 3 friends? That's, to me, all the reason more why we shouldn't have these capacity restrictions. And it's the exact thing, the what if of it. And it does create that, victimhood. And you will become a victim if you are being aggressed by multiple attackers and you need more than 10 rounds or 5 rounds, because there's been legislation floated going back. I mean, here in New Jersey, I've seen legislation floated probably 8+ years ago trying to restrict magazine capacity down to 5 rounds. Now, the bill didn't get any traction, but this has been discussed. This is stuff that the anti-liberty people are looking to do.
Yes, and how do they come up with the numbers that they want to restrict it to? Like, where do they come up with 5? In New York was 7 for a while. We got that pushed back to 10, but like, where do they come up with these numbers? Is there any, what's the metric they use to make these decisions? Okay, well, 10 rounds is okay, but 11? Sorry, no, that's way, how do they, Anthony, how do they come up with that crap?
Put a hat, put some tickets in it, shake it up. All right, we got 5.
Yeah.
Just liberal logic.
Yeah, they have no idea. Putting people, though, in danger is, I think, I think the lawmakers should be held accountable. I wish there was a way that they could be held accountable because, you create you create a limit on capacity, and somebody runs out of ammo and they get killed, or you create a gun-free zone where somebody doesn't want to break the law, so they leave their gun at home and they get killed in that gun-free zone, or a child gets killed at a school that's a gun-free school zone. At what point? I mean, when shouldn't we be holding these lawmakers accountable? Shouldn't they be the ones to go to jail for putting those people, or at least be held as an accomplice?
Well, it's like, did you see the video of the woman in Florida getting killed by the Haitian illegal?
He beat her to death.
He beat her to death on the street and just walked away.
Yeah.
But that judge, he just committed a crime like a week or two before.
Yeah.
Let him out. Why aren't the judges being held accountable? Especially in Florida. What's wrong with Florida? Florida's becoming way too liberal, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. You're probably
Because you got
right.
all the dirtbags from this state going to Florida, and they're not leaving.
Well,
I mean,
are the police, and maybe John can help us out with maybe Jersey police. I know we have an article here. Are the police doing what they're supposed to be doing? And they're, of course, at the direction of the mayors and the governors. But so this article was about the racial indifferences. Can you explain what this was?
Yeah, so this goes back to a series of things. And we discussed this going way back to 2024, right? And we found that the permit to carry, rates of denial were more than double blacks over whites for non-criminal reasons, right? So we looked at that information when this dashboard was released, and a non-for-profit actually picked up my coverage on that I broke in 2024. And in 2025, that non-for-profit Rise Against Hate, they released their own report. And when they got the statisticians involved and they got their own data, they found that black applicants are denied 10 times more than white. And this is for, non-criminal reasons. There's a subjective standard still in New Jersey law where they don't have to issue the permits and if it's not in the interest of public health, welfare, and safety. And they, of course, added this other element to the law in 2022 saying that, the applicant lacks the essential temperament or the right temperament to carry or possess a firearm. So this is all something that was uncovered by looking at all of the data in New Jersey. Well, last year, probably midway 2025, towards the end of 2025, I started looking at wanting to get the information about, retired police officers. And I wanted to see, what their permitting looks like, because their retired police officer permits are not classified the same as a non-retired police officer.
Right. So
Officer
they get to carry in other places that we might not be able to. Is that what you're saying?
They get a different type of permit. They get different privileges. But depending on how they're carrying, if they're carrying under LEOSA and or having a retired police officer permit, you have to look it all up. But there's magazine capacity restrictions that they're not beholden to. There's hollow point bullet restrictions that they're not beholden to. But at the end of the day, the dashboard that the Attorney General put together in 2024 does not include those permits for the retired police officers. So I started to go down the road to look into this. And so the first query that I did was like, let's just see how many of there are, because I've dealt with the New Jersey State Police before, and they're not usually very forthcoming with their Open Public Records Act requests. And that's New Jersey's equivalent to a Freedom of Information Act request. It's the state level request here in New Jersey. So I put in this request for just the number of retired police officer permits that were active and or issued within a 2-year period. And the New Jersey State Police, initially they had asked for a extension, which was, to me, was a promising sign, because usually they just outright denied all of my requests. And the Attorney General, I had put in with them too, they denied it, but that's because they said, you know, the state police has these records and we know you have a request to open with the state police. That's where you go to get that information. I'm like, cool. So a couple of months, you know, or weeks went by, and then they denied that request. They said that my request for the number of permits to carry issued to retired police officers was improper or overbroad. So I said, all right, well, they don't want to give me the number of permits, and they said that it wasn't an actual record, that that's an information seeking request as well. So then I said, well, give me the record of the amount of money that the state collected for retired police officer permits. And same thing. They rejected that, said it was an overbroad and improper request. So the state doesn't even want to tell us how much money they've collected for retired police officer
And of
permits.
course, this is a Democrat dominant legislature, right? The state is I don't know if like New York State is super majority Democrat. I'm not sure what Jersey is.
Yeah, Jersey is, I think, damn near super majority, if not super majority. Like, it's there. They have a majority. They're dominating.
So are they
in our
hiding money?
legislature.
Is that what were they just
Well, I think they're hiding the data. They just don't want to give up any information. And, you know, the New Jersey State Police has given me 0 information requests over the years that I've been doing this. And I've put in a lot of different information requests with a lot of different agencies, and all of them have played ball with me. Even the New Jersey Attorney General's office has fulfilled plenty of information requests that I put out. You know, they've denied some, but, you know, you have to pick and choose your battles. So I put in a 3rd request with the New Jersey State Police, and I said, okay, because they're trying to make this all technical and saying, you know, the records and it's improper, it's overbroad, they're not subjected to this. Okay, so I put in for the full gamut, and I said, I want every single application for permits to carry for retired police officers given to me, and I want them redacted. Take off the name, take off the address, take off the identifying information about the individual. All I want to know is the race. I want to know the sex. And I want to know if the permit was denied or if it was approved. And if it was denied, what the denial reason was. And I want to know the jurisdiction so I can see what county that the permit was applied for. And I said, redact all the personal information.
So Johnny, let me stop you there for a second, and you're going to tell us what what their response was. But let me get to one of our sponsors real quick. You want to know who's fighting for your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. GOA is the no compromise gun rights group. So I urge you to become a member at gunowners.org. What have they done? Well, GOA secured a preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule. GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule. They helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida. GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy, and GOA fought to overturn Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So with the constant attacks on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, what can I do about it? This is what you can do. You can become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. So we're here with John Petrolino. And John, you're about ready to tell us what their New Jersey State Police Department's response was after your 3rd request for permit data.
Yep. So I put in that request, and I even stipulated, I said, if you don't want to give me the applications, redacted and you don't want to do all that work, that's cool. Give me just a tabulated
Sure.
results. Tell me the data. I just want the numbers. Break it all down for me. How many people were approved? How many people were denied? And what was the composition of their race, their sex, and where they were from, right? So then they also denied that request as well. And they said the same thing. It was improper, overbroad, and that these records are not subjected to, Open Public Records Act requests. At this point now, I'm growing even more frustrated.
So I'm guessing, John, sorry to interrupt you. I'm guessing that you're starting to become more suspicious that New Jersey Democrats are possibly restricting black people's permits. And going back to what, the 1800s firearm policies.
Exactly. So I want to see if there's the same trends with the retired police officers as there are with the civilian permit to carry applicants. So on one hand, are we going to see the same pattern of bias, or I dare say worse yet, we won't see the same pattern of bias? Because if it's not there, then you see the police really are getting preferential treatment. And I think all of this is important to know. And maybe the police are not getting preferential treatment. There have been people that have said that it's more difficult for retired police officers and certain jurisdictions. So, that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to put that data and combine it with former research so that we could get a full and complete picture of the health of the applications for permits to carry. And then we can make a comparison between the retired police officers and the civilians, and why the state does not want to give up any of this information whatsoever is baffling to me, because this is a very simple request. It's no different than trying to get tax data, right? If you wanted to get information, and technically this is a revenue generating thing because they collect money, they wouldn't even give me that. So I emailed the records custodian because I had growing frustrations, and I said, look, what's the deal? Why are we denying these, requests? I'm coming here in good faith as a journalist, putting in these records requests. We're happy to have information redacted. We're doing a common law claim here. We want to get this information. What's the deal? And they wrote me back and they said, nope, this is overbroad. It's improper. It's not subjected to Open Public Records Act requests. It's not in the better interest of the public. Like my request doesn't outweigh the rights of privacy for this anonymous information. So it was a bunch of kind of, I'd say, malarkey, and they ended their email with, well, if you want to, you can sue us. So that's exactly what I did. We filed John Petrolino versus the New Jersey State Police and State Trooper X, and I'm suing the New Jersey government to get this information.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it sounds to me like they really are just trying to cover some stuff up that they don't, it's like these people work for us and we hire them, we elect them. And when they keep information that we should be able to have, I understand you don't even want the names. You don't want the addresses. That's not what you're going for. You just want to see if they're being fair with their permitting process, right?
That's it. Are they being fair with the police? Are they being as unfair with the police as they are to civilians? How is all of this handled? And I don't understand. Like, if you just look at the way they're stonewalling everything, they're obviously, the state police thinks that they're special, that they don't want to give any of this information. And after being denied request after request after request, they told me to sue them. So I said, okay. So here we are.
So where are you at with that? Where is it?
So right now, my court date is set for April 28th. Now, whether or not that gets pushed or pulled has yet to be seen. But, this is, in county court and, over where Trenton's at. And, and the other thing is the State Trooper X. The reason why there's a State Trooper X is because the records custodian continues to refuse to sign off on who they are. So I have some unknown, unnamed individual with the New Jersey State Police that keeps denying these requests, that was denying them also through the email, not signing their emails to me. And so now there's an unnamed officer that's also being sued in this suit. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I hate to see this type of thing because, where they try to keep their identity secret. When they're doing that, it tells me that they're doing something wrong or something that they shouldn't be doing. I know I got, people know I have a bunch of rental real estate, and we have some rental real estate in a city called Gloversville, New York, which is a kind of a lower income city. And we have this fire department that are just tyrants with fines and all sorts of ridiculous nonsense. They like to keep their identities secret. And when they're doing that they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Anyway, that's kind of a side, got off track. But Jersey and New York tend to take each other's playbooks back and forth and do the same kind of nonsense. It's just it's pretty sick. I don't like either state, to tell you the truth.
Got a lot of scumbaggery.
A lot of scumbaggery in New Jersey and New York.
Wow, state troopers are dirtbags down there.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Obviously, they're hiding what. Obviously, they're guilty of something.
Well, it's like, just give the reporter, the journalist, John Petrolino, give him the information. If you have nothing, if you're not doing anything wrong, what are you trying to hide?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to? You're willing to go all the way to court for a lawsuit so you could not tell the public where you are and where you're not issuing permits and stuff,
and using taxpayer money to defend themselves.
And first of all, we shouldn't have a permitting process to begin with.
Exactly.
So they create these. They create the legislation. They're doing shady stuff with it, just like New York, John. All our background checks now, they don't go to the national NICS system. They go to the state police, the New York State Police, where they can keep a record of everybody, which under certain law, that's supposed to be anonymous. But they brought it in-house to the state police department, and now Kathy Hochul can pull up anybody's name and address when she wants to. I think it's despicable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and New Jersey's a point of contact state as well. So you could look at this, and it's so patently absurd. I need to pay a New Jersey background check so that somebody in the state police can do a background check on me, and they're going to interface with the FBI database and whatever they're going to use to do a background check on me that I have to pay for out of my pocket, versus you go to the actual NICS system, which is supposed to be instantaneous, and it's also funded through tax dollars. So this database is paid for, it's budgeted for, it was part of that crime bill that we had in the 1990s. Okay, so we have that. But if you zoom out, you have all of these other states and jurisdictions that if you have a concealed carry weapons permit or license to carry or permit to carry, whatever the nomenclature is for your jurisdiction that allows you to carry a firearm, if you have that license or permit and it meets certain criteria, you don't need a NICS check at all when you go to buy a firearm. You just show that ID, and they know that you're a good guy because you're getting background checked regularly.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee you that New Jersey's permit to carries absolutely meet whatever requirements they have to, because we renew these things every 2 years. So it's not like you could say it's like, oh, he's got a permit that's good for 10 years. No, it's every 2 years we have to renew these things. and they're incredibly expensive. They're incredibly onerous. And the cherry on top of the permit to carry debacle in New Jersey is one of the qualifying things that you have to even apply for a permit to carry is a firearms identification card. Now, the statutory disqualifiers for a firearms identification card, for pistol purchaser permits, which you need a pistol permit for each and every handgun that you buy, and you cannot buy more than one handgun a month in New Jersey, and the statutory disqualifiers for a permit to carry. Now, this isn't saying like the permit to carry, there's also training requirements and a couple of other things. I'm just talking about what disqualifies you legally from having these documents are exactly the same. So if you have in hand a firearms identification card, and then a year or two later you go get your permit to carry, unless you committed some crime, some heinous crime, or you've become a felon, which they should have pulled your firearms identification card at that point anyhow, if you've become a disqualified person. But if perchance that didn't happen, you should not be getting denied a permit to carry. So essentially, if you have a firearms ID card, you should be able to get a permit to carry, no questions asked. If it's the same background checks.
Let me stop you there, because we're going to go to break here in a second, but the entire conversation is infuriating because the bad guys pay no attention to any of this. All this hoop jumping is for us. And I want to, when we come back after break, I want you to talk about the discretionary permitting article that you wrote in Bearing Arms. So right after this, we got a lot more with John Petrolino.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org.
All right, we're back with John Petrolino from Bearing Arms. And John, before we get into this article, you wrote an article for Bearing Arms, Opinion in New Jersey Case Chips Away at Discretionary Permitting. Before we do that, you and I talked before the show. We have a lot of friends who are involved in a lot of upcoming events, and I wanted you to, I know you got the list written down, so can you, real quick, can we get through these upcoming events that everybody in America should know about, every gun owner especially?
Absolutely, Dan. So I have coming up a bunch of things to talk about. So on April 17th, 18th, and 19th is the NRA annual meeting. So if you get a chance to head out to Houston, there's the NRA annual meeting, and I actually will have a booth there. It's booth number 3450, and it's for the Voices of the Second Amendment. So I'll be there at that booth. I've got a 1/3 stake in it, so I'll be recording interviews, meeting with people, talking. So if you do go to the NRA annual meeting, I will be there, and I will have a booth. So stop by and say hello and wave at me. If I'm in the middle of an interview, we could get a chance to meet and say hello. Some other things that are going on. As you know, I'm a board member with the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, which is one of the organizations that's affiliated with the Second Amendment Foundation. Everybody knows the Second Amendment Foundation, they're pretty prevalent. Everybody knows about them and their litigation efforts. Well, prior to SAF being formed was the CCR-KBA, which was also formed by Alan Gottlieb. We have a really exciting event coming up on May 30th, and that's going to be in Chicopee, Massachusetts. and it's the Firearms Advocacy Conference, and it's going to be in New England, so it's going to be called the New England Firearms Advocacy Conference, and we're going to be going over state level issues that are going on in the New England states. It's going to be a one-day affair. I believe it's $25 to attend, and you get a membership to CCRKBA if you do go. And if you want information on that, you could go to ccrkba.org/FAC. And then the other event that we're both really excited about, because I know you're definitely coming to this one, is the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Now, part of Gun Rights Policy Conference is going to be the Alternative Mass Media Conference. Now, both of these conferences are co-hosted by the Second Amendment Foundation and the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Those events are going to be held on September 25th in Dallas, Texas. And they both have separate registrations. I think there's a small fee for registration for GRPC, so you do need to pay to go. I think it's $20 or $25. I can't remember. But if you are interested in going to the media conference and to GRPC, you could register for both by going to amm-con.org. And for GRPC, you can head over to saf.org/GRPC. Two separate registrations, one great weekend of advocacy, fellowship, and learning about, reporting on these things at AmCon, and also some of the tactics and other things that are going on at the conference proper. So I just wanted to float that out there to everyone. And if anybody has any questions about anything that I talked about, you can email me at john@thepenpatriot.com, and I'll happily answer whatever questions you have.
And yeah, great events. And I enjoy going to the GRPC and AmCon. AmCon is also a great event. And there's so much knowledge there because the Second Amendment advocates from all over the country come together. And not only is it fun because we get to hang out and see our friends, but just the vast amount of knowledge that comes together in those two, GRPC and AmCon, especially. I love it. Anyway, thanks, John. So back to this Bearing Arms article. Shout out to Cam Edwards, by the way. We just had Cam on the show, and Cam, as far as I know, is the editor at Bearing Arms, correct?
Yep, Cam is our editor-in-chief, and he's a great dude, good friend, and awesome media personality for sure.
Definitely. Well, you wrote this article, Opinion in New Jersey Case Chips Away at Discretionary Permitting. One thing that really stuck out to me is the permits may be denied to any person where the issuance would not be in the interest of the public health, safety, or welfare because the person is found to be lacking the essential character of temperament necessary to be entrusted with a firearm. Who's determining this is my question. And why are these same people letting criminals out of jail?
So this is all 100% tied together. That is the same subjective standard that they're using to deny people permits to carry. Now, this particular case, Politoff, I think he was getting an FID card, maybe. I can't remember, or if he was getting one revoked. I don't remember the actual specifics of it.
He was. It says here he was denied firearm purchaser ID card and permit to purchase.
Yep. So it's all, and again, it's all of the same statutory disqualifiers, and that is a subjective standard that the issuing authority, who's the chief of police or the person at the state police barracks, if you're in an unincorporated area. So that's who decides. So basically, if the issuing officer at whatever jurisdiction you're at doesn't like you, they can deny you the permit and say it's not in the interest of the public health and safety. And that's where all of these people were getting tied up. All of these black denials that are 10 times more than white denials is for that reason. And that's not a criminal thing. So Politoff, this was a great case, and hat tip to Evan Knappin's law firm and to Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell is the one that litigated this case, Robert Bell. and did a phenomenal job with this case. And he got the opinion, and it's a published opinion. So this is binding case law in the state of New Jersey. This is going to affect, it's already affected people. There's another case that's already cited it. Within the 2 weeks that this case has come out, it's already been cited in a permitting denial that got reversed. And now it says that for somebody to meet that definition, the court found it to be, it has to be like a repeat violent tendency. It can't be some one-off event. It's got to be a pattern of dangerous behavior, not something weird, not like a driving record. I had the Leonard Mirabel. I wrote about him back in 2024, I believe it was, or yeah, it must have been 2024. I wrote about Leonard Mirabel, and he got denied a permit to carry for a bad driving record, which was absolute complete bupkis. He eventually got his permit to carry, but it took him a lot of work to do that. And they all use that interest of public health, safety, welfare because of a bad driving record. It was non-criminal stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on in New Jersey. So Politoff, and to quote Evan Knappen, he says, "We've now thrown a Politoff cocktail at the law and have kind of burnt it down a little bit, because now they actually have to come up with a list with a pattern of behavior. It's a pattern of behavior, not just some random one-off."
So
and it's huge. It's a huge decision.
Right. So it sounds like it's a step in the right direction, but it's still, in my opinion, should be measured by criminal. I don't think we should have them at all, tell you the truth, but shouldn't it be measured by criminal activity, literal, criminal activity where they are arrested for a certain thing. It still sounds, and no disrespect to these attorneys, because they did a fantastic job getting to this point, but it still sounds like it's a bit subjective.
Well, it is still subjective, Dan. And there's a case that's been sitting at the New Jersey Supreme Court. It's the MU case. I believe that's what it's called. And it's been sitting at the New Jersey Supreme Court level almost 2 full years, I believe. I think it might be over 2 years. I don't know. I'm trying to keep a beat on it. And that case right there has the potential to completely remove that from the statute entirely, because under Bruin, as
well, that's
what
I was going to say. What happened to Bruin? Did we not have
Bruin?
It's just crazy. Go ahead.
Under Bruin, as you know, you cannot have these subjective standards.
Right.
So like here, to take the analogy, I will take these pieces of salami back. I don't have the whole salami. I don't think we should have permits at all.
Salami.
But I'll take 1 or 2 pieces of salami back. If that's how we have to win it, we win it back 1 piece at a time. And I'm good with that.
I like gabagool, but
you want gabagool? I got the gabagool. Absolutely.
I prefer gabagool. But so this is the thing that really gets under my skin is we had the Bruin decision. Now, I thought the Bruin decision did everything it needed to do to get rid of these may issue permitting processes and make it shall issue. But apparently we're still playing games with some of these states.
Well, and that's what's happened in these so-called Bruin response states is we just put them into a death rattle, so they're doing everything in their power that they possibly can to obstruct the citizens from being able to have their firearms. The Supreme Court made it clear. They said that the peasants shall have their pitchforks, and states like New Jersey and New York and Hawaii and California and Massachusetts and Maryland have all pitching a fit about this. And the fact of the matter is, I now have more liberties and rights in New Jersey than I did prior to Bruin, whereas in other states, like New York, there's areas where now you have less rights because people had permits to carry in, let's say, 90% of the state. In California, people were able to get permits to carry. Post-Bruin, they came in, and now they're making these laws, and they're just making it worse and worse for themselves.
It's frustrating. We do have some great organizations that are fighting for our rights at the national level. We have a lot of great state level organizations as well. And by the way, everybody needs to become a member and give them your money. Give them as much of your money as you can, because they're fighting these corrupt legislatures in these blue states.
Did he ever hear Hochul's gun?
Hochul?
With the switch?
Putting
Putting the switch in the clock and it can do 1,200 rounds per minute. Did you watch that, John?
You know, I love the nonsense talk, and I think you even had an awesome soundbite from Virginia released recently, and it's like goes back to the we had the incendiary rounds, and you know you're going to cook the deer when you shoot it. The one thing that these anti-liberty politicians really should do is like
research,
get a base level education on this stuff, so at least you're not going to be laughed off the stage by the people who know what's going on, because
who was
this
that?
is just absolute foolishness.
Who was that Congressman Kevin DeLeon years back? He's holding up an AR-15 and he's saying this has a 30 magazine round clip, can disperse of 5,000 rounds per second or some I'm exaggerating, but some nonsense. Do you remember that? A 30 round magazine clip, and he's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
There's the arm thing that goes up and down in the back. I think that's what it is. Like, you know, that's a sizzle reel that you need to put together. Danny Wos Jr., the producer, Mr. Producer, we should get that and then put that on the soundboard, because there's so much magic out there.
Yeah, there really is. These people are really, I think they are so caught up in their anti-gun narrative that they don't want they don't want to do the research.
Thank you, fellas.
I don't even think it's possible to put 1,200 rounds in a minute through a handgun without it melting in your hand. Not that it would mechanically fall apart. It would just melt
rounds in a minute.
Listen, Bruce Lee couldn't do that.
Man. Just replacing magazines, because you've already restricted to 10-round magazines. So,
so there's 120 of those you got to pop in and out.
Oh my God.
I mean, you can help me, and we can get a line of people. We can hire 120 people.
Yeah,
and we'll just keep doing it until it melts in your hand.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
I think
funny.
we should do it.
It's funny when they talk about this stuff, because they have no idea.
But she believes it.
Yeah. Well, you know, but then there's some politicians, and I remember Hillary Clinton doing this. She knew the difference between semi-automatic and full auto, and an automatic, but yet she kept using the term automatic, because she knew that by using the term automatic, she could scare more people. Now, this was at a time when we had just gone through we'd gone through the 1994 so-called assault weapons ban and all this stuff. She was very well versed in this stuff. Hillary Clinton was no dummy, but she purposely kept using incorrect terms to scare people who didn't know any better, and that's a problem.
Ghost guns, assault weapon, automatic, large capacity, high powered, all this stuff that they use, John. To me, it's like they're really speaking to people who aren't paying attention, don't know any better, and who are unwilling to do the research.
But if you want to trace back some of that so-called assault weapons speak and assault rifle speak, you go to Josh Sugarman, and I think it was 1989. I can't remember exactly when, 1989 to 1990, somewhere in there, 1991. And he put out this, paper that he published, and in the back of it, in one of the appendixes, they talk about using the assault weapons or assault rifle term, and it specifically says it's confusing to the public that doesn't know, and they're going to confuse it with machine guns or automatic fire, basically. And that's why we're going to continue to use this term as a misleading term, because it'll be giving them an opportunity to get more people to sign off on the restrictions that they want to push.
Exactly.
And this is something I've cited time and time again. Josh Sugarman, and it's the gun violence center or whatever the heck they were called. I can't remember the name of the group. Gun violence.
Well, there is a
Center
gun
or
violence prevention center, and that's, I think, run by a guy named Mark Bryant, I think. And
So
he creates
Yeah.
stats and stuff for the left.
right, and that was their little dashboard on so-called shootings and stuff, and I think that was also, been largely debunked because the way they collect their data
Of
is
course.
based off of just media reports. That's not scientific at all. You can't base it on that. That's not proper.
Well, they use skewed demographics, and they'll cherry pick certain demographics and certain things, and there's all sorts of ways that they create these false statistics and reports and studies. And I talk about this all the time, is that they consistently do it because they need to create a body of resources for to hold up their anti-gun claims. So you can go and you can Google child gun death, and all the stuff that's going to come up is the stuff from Johns Hopkins and all the anti-gun, American Medical, the American Pediatrics, and all these studies that are false studies. Like, for instance, the child death, we talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. They're using they're using adults up to 24 years old for their child gun studies. So, but here's the point. The more of these studies and fake statistics and reports that they can create, the more that live out there on the internet. So when the average person thinks they're doing their research, they're getting false data. And that's the idea. They want to create as much of a body of this false resource as they can. And one more thing, the biggest thing that gets under my skin is the whole gun violence narrative, the gun violence term. There's no such thing as gun violence. What it is, what we're talking about, is human violence, but they love to attach the word violence to gun because it gives animation to the gun. What are your thoughts, John?
I just had this conversation in an interview yesterday. There's gun violence. If there's gun violence, then there's knife violence, then there's hammer violence, then there's baseball violence, then there's baseball bat violence, there's fist violence. No, if there's a gunman, then there's a knife man, then there's a hammerman, then there's a Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
Batman.
Obviously there to push a narrative, and it's to paint a picture. And you know as well as I do, depending on what year you're looking at or what decade, 50 to 66% of all of the deaths attributed to firearms are self-inflicted gunshot wounds where people are completing suicide. So if we want to really focus on saving lives, why are we focusing on just one element here when most of this information, I don't want to say it's not negligible. It's not negligible. These are deaths, but these aren't deaths that are happening under the criminal auspices where it's crime. And those statistics that you pulled up about the children up to the age of 24, well, if you sit there and you look at the demographics of what is ages maybe 14 to 24, you're talking about prime gang age.
Exactly.
So these are people and individuals that are in gangs that are perpetrating this so-called gun violence. They don't want to talk about this as being a gang-related thing. So if you were to drill down and you really want to look at the firearms deaths, and no death, this is horrible. We don't want any deaths. But if you want to really drill down, throw out the completed suicides. That's going to be up to 66% of all those deaths are gone. Throw out the gang-related, gang-on-gang, and drug-related violence. Okay, that's going to be another huge chunk.
And you can even
That's
take
gonna
out
leave
the
you
law
with
enforcement. You can take out law
And that's going to
enforcement.
leave you
Yeah, it's going to leave you with nothing.
a very small homicide rate that's happening because of firearms.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to be sincere. If we really wanted to save lives in the United States, we would crack down on medical malpractice,
just
which
gonna
that
say that.
Yeah.
eclipses everything.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about doctor violence. And I think that's the term that maybe we need to say is surgical violence. The doctor committed surgical violence because this person died from their ineptitude. So, but we don't want to look at those statistics.
No, good point. And I think I think that I have a theory that the reason the medical industry is getting so involved in guns, where they have no business whatsoever, but by asking kids if their parents have guns, having gun questions on the applications on their charts and stuff. I think that they may be doing it to avoid criticism of the leading cause of child death, which you just pointed out, John, medical malpractice. Anthony, go ahead.
I got to go off topic for a second, but did you see the poor sergeant in New York who threw the cooler at the guy and killed him?
No.
On the moped?
No.
You guys didn't hear about it?
No.
So this sergeant, I guess there was a foot chase on a guy on a moped who was a drug dealer and a homicide. He was going down the sidewalk, and a retired police sergeant got out of his car and threw his cooler at him and hit him with it, and he crashed into a tree and died.
Okay.
They just convicted him. He got 3 to 9 years in prison
For stopping a
for
killer.
stopping a crime in New York City.
Wow. Unbelievable.
That is wild.
That is crazy. Well, again, it goes to the thing where they're
Criminals are victims.
Yeah.
The police are the perpetrators now.
And I want to go back to
That's
one
sad.
thing. I want to make one more point on top of what John just was talking about. The suicide numbers up to 60% or whatever it is. It's 60. And you said, I think, John, up to 66% of the gun-related deaths. Well, we know by watching Australia, when they had 2 major gun bans in Australia, and they were primarily under the guise of stopping suicide, right? Well, after those gun bans, suicides didn't go down. The trajectory stayed exactly the same. Now, maybe suicide by firearm may have gone down a little bit, but it picked up in other areas, whether it's knife hanging, drugs, or whatever. I don't know what other ways. So John, you have to take those suicides out of the gun-related deaths, because we know that suicides are not decreased in the absence of guns.
Right. And I said, and again, these aren't meaningless deaths, but if we're going to be honest about it, we can say, hey, this isn't the problem that you're trying to solve. Like, again, why don't we look at the quality of life issues that we have in the United States that would cause so many people to want to kill themselves? And I know one of the scorecard anti-gun groups has their report cards on different states, and they're saying, oh, New Jersey's got this great, this great laws, and the firearms deaths, this and that, and whatever. And New Hampshire, that has, very liberal, as in classically liberal firearms laws, permitless carry, you can buy your firearm without a hassle, all that kind of stuff there, and their suicide rate with firearm is through the roof, and 9 out of 10 deaths in New Hampshire are suicides. Okay, versus New Jersey, it's flip-flop. This is, well, why don't you look at those numbers and think about that for a second?
Yeah, they don't want to think
Somebody
about
in
that.
New Hampshire.
They don't want to think about that. Hey, John, we got to wrap it up, buddy. But thanks so much for being on the show. Tell people where they can find you. What's your call to action?
You can find me at thepenpatriot.com, and I want to hear from you, John, at thepenpatriot.com. Look for me on Facebook, The Pen Patriot, and everything is out there. Great to be here. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Oh, thanks, pal. We really appreciate it. And thank you for watching the show on Rumble, YouTube, and all our podcast platforms. You can also find us on Spreely at Spreely.com. And my name is Dan Wos. And don't forget, the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right. Trump saves the lives of 8 Iranian women. Somali fraudster ILHAN Omar is cornered like a rat. And the Southern Poverty Law Center pulls a Jesse Smollett and fabricates racism for profit. This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Wos. New Jersey filed a panic brief in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third District Court. They're trying to save their AR-15 and magazine bans that are currently in place from further litigation at the Supreme Court. So the letter explains to the appeals court why they should ignore a recent decision stating that a semi-automatic ban is unconstitutional in the Benson versus United States case. So now the state of New Jersey is desperate at this point to protect the unconstitutional ban on semi-automatic rifles that they already have in place. So there are two options for the Attorney General. One, they could seek a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court, which would likely end in a result that deems Jersey's ban unconstitutional, but also have a rippling effect across the country. Or they could accept the defeat and semi-automatic rifles and magazines would be legal to possess in New Jersey. So do they want to fight and potentially risk it for all the gun-grabbing states, or do they want to take their medicine and accept defeat? The Third Circuit will likely say that semi-automatic AR-style rifles is normal capacity, and normal capacity magazines are constitutional to own and possess. Just the idea that the state of New Jersey wrote this letter practically begging the court to uphold the ban and ignore the lower court's decision that a ban on these rifles and magazines is unconstitutional tells us that they're very concerned that they will lose it all. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with, he doesn't stir up trouble online on purpose. He just reminds people when they're being stupid. John Chiara. And he's not a violent man. He just likes to choke a liberal every now and then. Anthony Diso. All right. So I wanted to get we got a ton of stuff, guys. We got lots of ILHAN, OMAR stuff, but I wanted to talk about this Jersey thing because my friend Mark Smith from Four Boxes Diner brought this to the attention of a lot of people. So Jersey, they filed this brief to the appeals court. So saying that they want them to uphold the unconstitutional ban on semi-automatic rifles. So there's two things that'll happen. The court will either say, yes, we uphold it, or to go to the Supreme Court. If it goes to the Supreme Court, chances are they're going to say, yeah, these bans are unconstitutional, which means that it's going to set precedents for the whole country. Mm-hmm. But they don't know which way to do it. So what they're doing is they're just begging the appeals court to keep it in place. What are your thoughts? Okay, so I'll tell you again. The two options are for the Attorney General. One, they could seek a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court. Okay, so that means that it would be heard, this case would be heard by the Supreme Court.
Nationally, it'll be
right,
heard
right, federal court. So Jersey case gets heard by the federal court.
Which could screw it up for everybody if it goes the wrong way.
Screw it up for all the all the gun-grabbing states.
Right.
So they don't really want to do that because they know that they don't have a good chance. But right now, they've got it in place in the state where the ban is in place, although it's unconstitutional, it's still in place. So what do? Do they just try to hold on to that, or do they try to fight it?
I don't know. What would you do? It's hard for me to think like them. I would rather see the whole thing go to the court, get shot down completely, and then let people in New Jersey buy those guns, and we'll watch and see what happens to the crime rates.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Because nothing's going to happen. No. Right? It's no big increase in school shootings.
We don't even have to see that. We've seen that 1,000 times. We've already seen that 1,000 times. When these, we know that where there's more guns in possession of hands of good people, that there's less violence. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
unless you're a tranny.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got to inject that.
Well,
No.
I mean,
90% of them have been.
I know.
yeah, nothing against the gender dysphoria people who really have a condition,
Mental health.
but you're right. They're not
Somehow
right.
it's our fault.
Not right.
Somehow it's our fault.
Well, I wanted to ask, I was thinking yesterday, I was listening to some podcast, and I said, I want to go back and ask all the people that I graduated from high school with and say, well, how many trans people did we know when we were growing up? It's like,
It wasn't even a thing.
it wasn't even a thing. So I'd say that it's natural and that we need to support all this stuff if you look at it and it's completely different than it's ever been throughout history. And all of a sudden it's the thing, all because we're being empathetic, or what are we doing?
Well, the thing that really aggravates me is, let's say there's a very small portion of people who have gender dysphoria. Okay, it's been known. Okay, so whatever. They're not the problem. The problem is all these left-wingers who are jumping on this bandwagon, changing their hair purple, cutting off body parts, and pretending like it's a freaking circus show. It's just like a fad.
But they want you to call them by their special name.
Well, that's not going to happen.
I know.
and the rest of the world looks at us and say, oh, look how progressive they are.
It's degressive.
It's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense. It goes against biology. It goes against
Plus
everything.
the larger fact that the more we slip into the acceptance of this non-common sense
Yep. The normalizing.
logic that we have, everything goes to heck.
Because it normalizes ridiculous
But
things.
the thought processes also go down the tube because I accept this. After a while, you're willing to accept anything because you don't want to push back against the masses all the time. It's just social pressure.
Why do you think Google changes the definition of words when you go to look up the definition of a word? That's why I bought a 1938 Webster's, I think it was a 1938 Webster's dictionary. I have the actual book. If I really want to know what a word means, I'll look it up in that. I won't ask Google because, and I've done comparisons, and when you look it up in Google, it's completely different. It's whatever the new left-wing, narrative wants it to be.
It's so weird.
So yeah, we've solved that problem in the world. All right, so let's go to this. There's an article here in New York Post.
Right-wing rag.
Trump says Iran won't execute 8 women after he demanded their release. Did you guys hear about this?
No.
Okay, so President Trump announced Wednesday that Iran will no longer execute 8 women after he pleaded Tuesday for their freedom, calling it very good news in a social media post. Here's his quote. I've just been informed that the 8 women protesters who were going to be executed tonight in Iran will no longer be killed. 4 will be released immediately and 4 will be sentenced to 1 month in prison. I very much appreciate that Iran and its leaders respected my request as President of the United States and terminated the planned execution. They were going to execute these 4 protesters, and he said no. Do you think the libs are proud of him for that?
Nope.
He saved more lives than Obama and Biden combined, probably, and they won't care.
Yeah. And, I follow a couple Iranian women on social media, political Iranian women. It's like they just want to have, from what I can tell, just a normal life, like it used to be back in the 70s.
Right.
But these scumbags came in and completely destroyed their country. And now our liberals are cheering on
The scumbags.
the scumbags.
They don't know what they're cheering on. They're a bunch of morons. Oh, they love us. Yeah, okay. Go on over there and see how much they love you.
I would love for them to be able to go over.
We should do field trips.
Did you see the
way.
one podcast thing I saw where I was a senator, somebody was offering some girl all kinds of money. He was going to pay for her money to claim citizenship, and he was going to pay for her airfare and give her money to go to some communist country and stuff. And she's like, what communist country? He goes, I don't know, Cuba. She goes, well, that's not really a communist. He goes, you pick the country. Go wherever you want to go. I'll pay for you. So,
Yeah. Oh, well, I remember the libs when Trump first got elected. There was all this talk about the border, and obviously Trump wanted to close up the border. and they wanted to keep it open. So the libs are always pushing for more illegal Mexicans to come into the country. But then when he gets elected, they all said, we're leaving the country. But they wouldn't go to Mexico.
We'll go to Mexico.
It was always Canada. We're going to go to Canada. Yeah. We want all the Mexican illegals to come into America, but we're going to go to Canada.
Canada don't even want you.
Not only that, but they're such hypocrites.
It's whatever the flavor of the day is with them.
Yeah.
Their lives are so pathetic and boring. They just need something to do.
Rosie O'Donnell should start a commune and have them all come live with her. Rosie's place.
Well, it's so funny when people go out and ask the libs, do you think we should just take them in and let them live here and give them free housing and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay, well, would you take in a family yourself?
Nope.
No.
Right away. Nope. It's like, okay, so you're protesting for this, but you won't take them in. I don't have the room.
What is it?
Like you do? Oh, I know you have the room in your house.
I mean, but what's going on in the psychology? I really love to understand the psychology behind that sort of stuff.
They've all been convinced that they're right, and that's all that matters. So therefore, if I'm right, I have the right to tell everybody else what to do because I'm right no matter what. It's a simple. I mean, the I'm right thing is the one thing above your basic id where your mind wants to think that you're right. So what do you got? You got consensus. Oh my gosh, millions of people agree. 97% of scientists agree. Blah, 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 blah. And they got everybody convinced that whatever, and the worst part of it is these are the same people that are calling right-wingers cult members. They're the cult members. Yeah. Somebody says something at the top and it filters down and everybody starts saying the same thing the next day. It's insane. It's so easy to see.
It's so cult-like. And
absolutely.
It really is. I mean, if you just take yourself out of the politics and you just look at what's happening to the left wing, it's cult.
Just make a whiteboard. People yell at me, oh, well, you're this, you're that. I go, I just want you to leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of something. I'm not getting a newsletter every morning in my email telling me what to think, what to say, who to talk to, who not to talk to, what things to back, what things not to back. It's like they think that this world exists that doesn't exist.
Because every time they turn on their computer, they get Yahoo News or whatever left-wing
or turn on The View or turn on your local news even. The View is insane. Dude. I've watched it a couple times in the last week. It's just insane.
They're nuts. I can't watch it. I watch the clips when they come up on, online or whatever.
Well, it's like everything else. And I was listening to some radio show on the way up and they were playing clips of people talking and the commentator, the person started talking, Trump's fault.
Yeah.
Trump. That's all they got. They don't have anything.
How can they allow themselves, and they don't even see it. No. They don't recognize the fact. If I hated someone that much where it consumed my whole life, I would, rather than want to be right, I would say, wait a minute, this just isn't healthy. It's just not healthy.
Internally or externally, right?
Exactly. And is there something wrong with me?
You see what TDS has done to Kathy Griffin and
the way they look,
Rosie,
just their appearance.
Pictures are funny.
They look like they're folding from the inside, like their soul just got sucked out of their butt.
Oh, who's the porn star? Stormy
Daniels.
Did you see
that picture? Wow.
Did you see that picture?
Yeah, I don't know if that was real or not, but that was pretty bad.
She looks like a bag of dog crap.
When she was going through all that stuff with Trump, I could tell she was maybe not as hot as she probably used to be or whatever. But
Anthony's
she was still
members of her OnlyFans page.
But she was good looking. But then to look at her now, it's like, oh my God. Gross. Are you looking at the picture in the studio?
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. That is
Is there any way you can pull it up or no? You put it in post or?
Nah, I can't pull it up quick. Hold on.
Okay.
She looks
We'll keep
awful.
talking. We'll keep talking. If Danny can pull that picture up. Yeah. She's not she's a handsome woman. She's
Whatever.
She's a handsome woman.
Don't matter to me. You know what I mean? Do your thing. Who cares? But
Well, I mean, on one hand, people get old. Okay, so what are you going to do? You know,
nothing.
People get old. You can't blame them for that. But it just seems like Anthony's talking about. It's just like the TDS people really seem to be looking.
Well, again,
like
it's part of
freaks.
that internal anger and constant victim. How can you be a victim forever and ever and ever?
Oh,
and
here
ever?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Looks like that penguin had an old child.
There's another
before.
picture.
She's lovely.
Oh,
There's another one of her that's even worse. Oh, that one top left.
Oh God.
yeah. What happened?
I don't get that.
I don't know. That's
It's all the Botox and the plastic surgery falling apart.
God, that's awful.
You love her.
Oh,
God. That's what porn does to you.
I guess so.
All those miles.
Well, she's been run through pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Rode hard and hung up wet.
She didn't.
Put her in a
She
closet.
didn't spring back.
She spring backed all right.
Oh, God. All right, let's get to one of our sponsors real quick. You want to know who's fighting for your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. GOA is the no compromise gun rights group, so I urge you to become a member at gunowners.org. What have they done? Well, GOA secured a preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule. GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule. They helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida. GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy. And GOA fought to overturn Joe Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So with the constant attacks on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, what can I do about it? Well, this is what you can do. You can become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. All right. Let's see here. So anyway, anything else on Stormy Daniels? Poor Stormy. I think today we need to talk about the obvious. Is it John's girl or Anthony's girl?
I think it's Anthony's girl.
Anthony's
He
girl.
likes those exotic types.
Which one?
Anthony's girl, ILHAN Omar. She is definitely in the news.
The brother humper?
The brother, I guess so. She married him. So here's an article here. This will just get us started. We got a bunch of clips. We got all sorts of stuff on ILHAN. ILHAN Omar explodes at a reporter for asking about the multi-million-dollar disclosure discrepancy. She says, "You're stupid for asking me anything." The Somali fraudster, smelly scumbag ILHAN. Oh, did I say that? Did I?
Sure
say,
you can.
Did I say?
She's pure scumbaggery.
She is scumbaggery. But anyway, she blew up at a reporter this week for asking questions about accounting discrepancies, and the Democrat blamed for overstating her net worth by millions of dollars on financial disclosure forms. In May, so here's the summary of what she did here. In May last year, Omar claimed she and her husband, Tim Minette, held assets worth between $6 million and $30 million. Okay. However, an amended filing report by the Wall Street Journal last week put the couple's wealth between $18,000 and $95,000. How do you go from $30 million to $95,000?
Listen, they're not surviving on $18,000. Let me tell you something. If you believe that, I got a poopy flavored lollipop I want to sell you.
Right. But she went originally, I guess she had a negative net worth when she entered Congress. I can't remember what the number was. It was negative or it was really low. And so she goes into Congress with no money. 2 years later?
Yeah.
2 years later, she's worth $30 million.
Wasn't there some winery involved or something?
Which a winery which nobody could call. I guess they were calling the number, and
Somali
it was
winery.
just busy. And then it was, and then they couldn't find it. There was no winery there. I guess the address was a different business. It was went to this address, and there was no winery. So, what does that tell us? I would suspect that she got money through this is my. I'm just guessing here.
The Leering Center?
I'm just theorizing here. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this is what we're left to believe, that she scammed the money off the Somali daycare centers and healthcare centers and all that stuff. And she made a fortune doing that. And now all of a sudden she's worth $30 million. So what does she do? What do you do when all of a sudden you have $30 million illegal dollars? You have to show you got it from somewhere, right? So all of a sudden now there's this winery. Oh, okay. Well, a winery could probably be worth $30 million if it's successful, right? Okay, so now there's this winery to cover up the money. This is all just speculation. I'm not saying she did this. This is my hypothesis.
What you would have done. Well, I mean, if you were in that situation and you had to make allowances for all that stuff, right? You got to find
That's what he would have done.
That's so
Guilty as
funny.
charged.
That's so funny. So yes, my hypothesis is, I guess if I was going to do that, that's the way I would do it. So, but then once they realize that there's no winery, there's no anything. Now, what does she do? She says, well, it was a financial error.
Bookkeeping error.
Bookkeeping error. I'm really only worth 95.
Bull crap. Her salary is $174,000.
Yeah. How do you turn that into 30 million? Yeah.
Or 18,000.
I don't know how we tolerate this crap.
Well, this smelly rat is now being cornered. So we got a video. We got a bunch of videos on it.
I don't know why she's still in office.
You got a video for us, Danny?
Jessie, Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman ILHAN Omar, generally speaking, is quick to talk when it comes to slamming the president or the GOP or, proclaiming her allegiance to Somalia. But when it comes to taking questions about her skyrocketing wealth scandal, well, mum's the word. Dodging questions after blaming the scandal on, wait for it, an accounting error. And we're talking about one heck of an error. Her alleged net worth dropping by millions of dollars overnight. A new congressional filing showing her net worth went upwards of 30 million, then all the way back down to under 100 grand. It also shows she has up to 100K in student loan debt and credit card debt. What in the world? She chalks up the discrepancies to an accounting error, saying she was too busy to do the filing herself. Well,
hey, Danny, I think we got play number 2. This next clip is her being confronted, and she doesn't like it. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Didn't make these numbers
This is fine. Keep going. Keep going.
up. These numbers were provided in some form for the accountant to prepare the forms. But again, I go back to, she's responsible. So what it tells me is either she misled in some way, or she simply didn't review the forms.
Yeah.
Either way, there's no excuse here, David. None.
Okay. Yeah. Now play this one here. This is where she starts being confronted on the topic.
Tell us about your net worth dropping down to about 100,000.
Look at that arrogance.
Could you just elaborate on what mistake was made, Congresswoman?
She is so
What mistake
arrogant.
was made on your financial disclosure forms to bring it down to 100,000 from up to 30 million? Just want to give you a chance to clear it up because people are wondering why it dropped so far down. Does your husband still have the consulting business worth about $8 million?
Got any of that Somalian Merlot you can give me a sample of?
We got more clips where she asks the reporter if she wants to buy wine. She goes, not from you. So
finding S. Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or
do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
well, it's listed in the financial disclosure, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Recently stated that the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, but you're on video saying it.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually
your country, honey.
causing most of the deaths within this country.
It's a nice beehive on your head.
Again, this is like what I said. You need to prepare yourself because you can't continue embarrassing yourself like this.
So I'm just a liar.
What I was quoting was an actual study done by the FBI.
Okay, thank you.
What a freaking,
you're caught on camera saying those exact words.
Yeah.
And you're calling the reporter a liar.
Yeah.
And then you have the nerve to say our country. It's not your country, honey.
And she won't be here long, I don't think.
Oh, she'll be here forever. She ain't going nowhere.
I think she's going to get
I don't think so.
bumped from Congress.
No. She'll be there for 50 years.
What a scumbag.
They're afraid of people like her.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, that's
all right.
Yeah, hold on to those clips for a second.
You know, how she gets away with all this stuff. It's just, I don't know. Well, again, back to the whole idea of everybody that hits me every day with, do you support this? Do you support that? Do you support that? Like, what is that you're supporting?
You know what's so interesting, though, is they will find some way to excuse her.
Mm-hmm.
The left, it's crazy. This stuff is right out in the open now. It's obvious she's a fraud.
Obviously. What has she done for anyone in her territory? Nothing. She just collects $175,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they work, what, 2-3 months out of the year?
No, they take the money from taxpayers and they pocket it under the guise of daycare centers and healthcare centers and adult health medical.
That kid Nick, he exposed it so bad they made a law in California.
The Nick
Shirley law. He's not allowed to go. That right there should tell you how crooked California is.
It tells you exactly
tells
everything.
you exactly what's going on.
We got to stop. We got to create a law to stop the people who are investigating fraud. Well, it's
defund the police.
Are people this stupid?
Okay, so Republicans will never vote for her. Republicans can see this. They say, okay, what is she even doing in this country, let alone in Congress? But the problem is we have a large portion of our society that's brainwashed on the political left, like we were saying, in this cult-like mindset that no matter what happens, they will still defend their team. So how do we break through to these people? How do we help the average leftist, the average liberal, see that scumbag Omar is a fraud and they need to denounce her? How do we convince them?
We'll never change.
So John, here's the psychology part of it. What causes them to be so strong tribally?
They don't want to be wrong, you know. These are people. Well, like we say, the masses have been programmed into thinking that what you support on a daily basis is what matters. And that doesn't mean anything. It only matters when you go vote in the voting booth. You know what I mean? All this crap. This is like I call it day trader politics. Everybody's convinced. At least people on the left seem to be much more consumed with this, maybe because they don't have hobbies, they don't have something to do, they don't have work to do or something, and they think that everybody thinks like them, and everybody's together with this. And then they come at us like we're the bad guys because we don't agree with them, and all we're doing out here is living our lives, trying to make things good for our friends, families, taking care of all our responsibilities. They have nothing to care about, I guess, except being part of this consensus. And it's scary because it doesn't take any intelligence to do it. All you have to do is just say, okay, I'm going to believe whatever you tell me, and that's what it's going to be. Who would do that? That's like little kids.
That's the
like
mentality.
a cult of little kids.
It's like a cult of little kids.
Sandbox cult. We need a national anti-scumbaggery tour to go.
That's the mentality. It's a cult of little children. Because
who else would believe that stuff? I mean, an adult, if something happens to you or me or you, and we go out in the real world and we go out with an idea, okay, we're going to do this, okay? And we get out there and everything that we encounter tells us that that idea is not a good idea and it's not going to work. And we just think that because we thought of it and we're right about it and all my friends agree that it's a good idea, that you should agree that it's a good idea. Even if it costs you money, if it hurts you, I mean, it's the same kind of thing with like dealing with landlords and rent and all this stuff. People don't understand anything about anything and they want to tell you what to do.
Well, like any cult, they use leverage against their own people.
Right.
So what's the leverage point? What are they using against? It's like this outcast.
It's shunning, right.
And the cancel culture.
Yep.
So they create all these kind of immoral ways of controlling their own people. Once they get a good grip on their own people and get them to do and think and say whatever they want them to say, then they can start reaching out to the public and see if they can convert anybody else. But there is definitely leverage. And I think the libs are so weak-minded. They go out and they protest and they demand all these things and they're all, loud and obnoxious. But I think really what it is they're very weak because they need to be part of that group. They can't stray from that group with a different opinion.
No. They're looking for top-down instructions on how to think, and they don't understand any other way.
Yeah. All right, real quick break, and we're going to come back. We got more ILHAN Omar video and stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org.
All right, we're back, and we got to continue this conversation on ILHAN Omar, and we're pissed off because not necessarily because of what she's done, because we don't expect much more from Democrats, but the idea that nothing has happened to her yet, she hasn't been held accountable, and a lot of these Democrats don't get held accountable. That's the stuff that really.
What's her district? Where is she from?
Minnesota.
She's Minnesota.
Remember, they moved all the Obama moved all the
Somalians
in to that district, and she got it elected. She's never going to be unelected there,
right? She's got to be
unless they literally remove her from Congress. She's going to be there forever.
Yeah, she's got to be removed. And the thing is, if she's not held accountable, that's a real sad thing. That's the real problem. I don't expect much from her or any of the other Democrats. I don't expect any loyalty to the country. I don't expect any ethical behavior. I expect them to support everything anti-American and denounce America. That's just who they are. They're the enemy of this country. So I don't expect much from them, but I do expect more from our justice system. Hold them accountable. If she's involved in all this fraud, do something about it. Show us that we can trust our legal system.
Yeah.
Anthony doesn't seem so confident about that.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
Never.
I'm saying that's what needs to happen.
Our justice system is broken when it comes to politicians can do whatever the hell they want.
Minnesota should just become part of Canada.
They literally can get away with
But
murder.
not all politicians can. Look at Trump. They gave him hell for...
He's a Republican.
That's what I mean. So it's Democrat politicians.
Democrat politicians can literally come up here and stab you live on TV, walk right out the back door.
Terrible.
I think, where are we? We got some more ILHAN. I keep calling her ILHAN. It's like ILHAN, right?
I don't know.
Well, I don't want to mix up her name with Elon Musk.
Call her Ilhana.
ILHANA.
Ilhana Hamama.
Let's see some more clips from this smelly traitor.
Beehive wearing full.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that?
Watch
How
the
did you make
arrogance.
a big mistake on this?
Absolutely, you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to tell you jack shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
She's so inbred.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's inbred.
She looks like she stinks.
I want to note for the record that we invited Representative Ilhan Omar to this hearing. We left her 2 voicemails at the end of March. We've written 2 letters, one on March 13th and one on March 30th. We also sent an invite on April 15th via her scheduling portal, and we have not had any response.
So she's not even responding to all these accusations, not defending herself or nothing. Why? Does she know she's done and she's burnt and she's going to be removed from Congress, or does she know that she's not going to be?
Well, you would think the IRS or somebody would be going after her over this, right? Or at least trying to find out
Depends
what's going on.
who's running the IRS right
or
now.
who's losing money out of it. If they're not losing any money, they probably don't care.
Yeah, the IRS isn't losing money. They don't care.
Come after me for my New York State tax and my
hold on
IRS,
that
my
one clip.
federal tax, but they're not coming after her if they don't care. Who knows?
Why isn't somebody asking for her bank records?
Well, I think they did get some records. That's how they knew that the 30 million went to like 18 to 95,000. I think it was some sort of financial statement that she gave. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. Simple IRS audit, right?
Oh,
I've been audited. My business, one of my companies was audited. Well, yeah, it was just a little got triggered by some subcontractor who did some work for the company, and he decided that he worked for the company, and he decided to try to collect unemployment, but he wasn't an employee. No. Yeah, let's bleep that out. John's impulse.
Bill
could be anybody.
Bob.
Anyway, so what happened was, this guy trying to get unemployment from my company
Flip the flag up for the IRS,
and they audited.
Right.
So my accountant had to deal with the IRS and show them all the stuff and go through it, and it was fine. We didn't do anything wrong. So if I can get out a small business, why the hell is she $30 million? And
you would think they would want to, because the taxes on that $30 million is huge for the IRS.
Somebody's potentially losing money there. You would
That's
think they'd want
what's
to go
that,
after
like
that.
$6 million in taxes?
I don't even know.
20%, right? What are they taking from us
Well,
right
it's
now?
not income probably. It's net worth, so it's not that. But
It's still income if it's in your account.
If it's net worth, it's right. If it's
It's
net
not
worth, it's net
taxed
worth.
until
it's
you
right.
sell it. But still, anyway,
she got rid of
with
it.
that big of a discrepancy. I mean, yeah, she got rid of it. Right? What happened to that? Did she sell the winery? What happened with that?
Yeah,
Where's the
worth
money?
30
for
million.
that?
I'm worth 18 grand now.
I have a lot of questions.
Well, we got one more Ilhan Omar clip,
comes.
and let's watch this.
I look concerned.
Congresswoman, Republicans have repeatedly stated that you committed immigration fraud. Are you at all worried about a formal investigation that could perhaps lead to your deportation?
Oh, you're one of those people.
One of those people.
I don't know what that means, but
One
are
of
you at all
those
concerned?
people.
Do I look concerned?
I guess not.
Okay.
All right. What about the Minnesota fraud hearing? You didn't show up for that. Do you think you should have?
Why should I have?
Well, it happened in your state. Don't you want to defend your position?
There were people from my state that were there.
Okay, but why not you? I mean, there's allegations that you're complicit in the fraud. Wouldn't you want to show up?
Why
to
would
defend
there be
yourself?
an allegation that I'm complicit?
Look at the
How
girl
would I
on
be
the right
complicit?
in the red dress. She's
what
like, how
about
did I
Tim
get
Wos?
mixed up with
Just
this
ask stupid
scumbag?
questions. Is this your thing?
I'm curious to get your thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of controversy around the issue. $9 billion in fraud in the state of Minnesota.
$9 billion?
You don't think so?
Really?
Yeah, and counting. Probably more, honestly. You think that's fake news or what?
That is more than half of the resources that are allocated.
Okay.
So you genuinely, like, your brain has told you that it is possible.
Then she goes to the
for
personal
half of the
insult.
resources
I'm just going off of what
for
the
our public service to, like, half disappear, is what you're saying.
countless Minnesota state representatives, whistleblowers have come
listen
forward.
to yourself, though.
I'm
Like,
trying
just
to
think about that for a second.
Maybe if you showed up at the hearing, you would know that
just think
whistleblowers
about
are
that
being
for a second.
retaliated against for exposing the fraud. Why is that? Why are they being
But
tracked and
just
traced?
think about what you're asking. Who is tracing whistleblowers?
Minnesota state officials, Tim Walz, anyone who dares to speak out against the government.
Tim Walz is doing something to
Yeah,
whistleblowers?
why is Tim Walz stepping down if he's, innocent?
'Cause he's a scumbag.
Why isn't he running
too.
for re-election?
Because he's had 8 years to serve as our great governor.
He was going to be vice president of the United States if Kamala
Yes,
won.
and he would have been an excellent vice
But
president.
now he's stepping down.
Better than the person we have right now.
And now he's stepping down as governor. Any comment on that? You don't think he's maybe complicit?
He is focusing on trying to make sure our state remains great. All right, have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, she's something.
She just
she just knows nothing's going to happen to her.
She knows. That's how she acts. Nothing I say matters, and do whatever I want doesn't matter.
She doesn't care. My thing is no foreign-born person should ever hold any office in our country. Mondami is a perfect example.
Oh, he's just begun.
You see what he just did? That billionaire, he was standing in front of that billionaire's apartment.
Yeah.
And the billionaire goes, I'll walk away from the city right now.
Yeah.
They're rebuilding some part of New York City with all kinds of business. He goes, I'll leave right now. And I'll walk away. I don't need this city. You need me.
Yeah.
You know, but don't stand in front of my house and disrespect me.
Why? You think you would have learned from
Because he
Hopo
wants him to
disrespecting
pay
all the people
taxes.
and they all moved away?
Because he says, I'm going to tax that guy, that rich guy up there.
Right, exactly.
I think even Hochul, as bad as she is, I think he's gone too far for her.
Yeah, she's trying to stay away from him because it's going to hurt her.
Yeah. I mean, she's awful. She's got to go.
Right.
But he's even worse. Thank God we don't live in New York City. Could you imagine?
No.
You're just going to be in. Oh, man. They're
It's
in
a
big
hellhole.
trouble.
It's a hellhole.
They're in big trouble.
Back in the 90s, I used to play in a band in the city, and
It was
wasn't
clean.
It was not that bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't clean, but it wasn't Giuliani clean. Giuliani, when he was mayor, that place everything was nice.
Zero crime.
And
everything was clean.
this is the thing. This is part of the argument too, is that all the people that are advocating for all these crazy things that we talk about, those exact people, their supporters are the ones that need the police. They need their neighborhoods to be safe.
Yeah.
They need to not have homeless people pooping on the sidewalk in front of their apartment. They are the ones that are suffering from all. It's just like with everything else. And all these programs, all these left-wing things, whether it's climate change or any other kind of thing, it's always the poor people that they claim to be helping that are suffering the most. And it's disrespectful to everybody involved, and yet they keep voting for these people.
Climate change.
You see, we go crazy trying to understand why they would keep voting. for
Right.
them. I don't understand.
How do you
told ya.
support that?
Free stuff, man. I'm telling you. They want their free stuff.
Well, that's
how Democrats keep them in line.
Well, that's how it's all. And way
that
back-
argument works for New York
Republicans
City.
don't do it.
That argument works for Mondami. I think you're right.
It works in every blue city, though.
Well,
Because they're not going to give up their free stuff because a Republican will take it away.
I don't agree with you on
They'll
that.
take it
And
away.
Here's why. Because you have rich liberals continuing to vote left.
Right.
They don't need the handouts.
No, but they're getting kickbacks from it, though, probably.
Look
Look at Soros.
Here's what I think. I think you're right on that. I think the kickbacks definitely are from the lower income people, the ghettos. Those people want to, but the rich hoity-toity libs,
Yep.
I think they do it for other reasons. I think they do it maybe for policy, maybe for the social policies, maybe to be in the right clubs, maybe to be part of the right groups. So I think what the Democrats have done is they've created leverage in many different areas. They've got the poor people, they've got them under good control. And then they've also got the rich libs under control because they can control them through social stigma.
Well, they've
and
made
things like
them
that.
feel guilty and responsible, so they've gotten them into a moral high ground position where, well, since I'm guilty, I can do all these things, and that'll redeem
I feel
myself.
better
They're
about
trying
myself.
to redeem themselves.
Yep, I think that's right. So I think both those things
Well, look
are
what
true.
they just did in Virginia with the gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they literally took a state that was red and destroyed it. Just those little inner city dumps changed everything. But they shot it down. I guess they took it off.
Well,
The judge stopped it.
The judge stopped it.
But I think it's still under litigation. Yeah. I think they're still fighting it. I don't know.
If
what's
it goes
gonna
to the
happen there,
Supreme
but-
Court, it's not going to make it through there. You can't do that. If that's the case, then every state should do it.
Right.
And at that point, we might as well just get rid of. We might as well just
Yeah.
not have a country at that point, because then the voting is useless.
Well,
Because Virginia's gone, if that's the case.
Virginia's always been right on the freaking edge.
Now it's
We've been there a number of times.
She's came in and destroyed that place in less than what, 4 months?
Yeah. Well, look what Mondami did in New York City. He was doing it in like weeks. Like just a few weeks he was starting all his nonsense.
I want to go down there and ride the free buses.
Let me get our sponsor real quick. We got so much more.
Bus.
To the free supermarket.
We got so much more coming here. But let me get one of our sponsors real quick. This is the Cali Key. Now, this device, the Cali Key, removes your AR from the definition of assault weapon. Did you know that when so-called assault weapon ban lists are created, they exclude manually operated bolt-action firearms? Just by dropping the Cali Key into your direct impingement AR in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you'll have a bolt-action rifle that falls outside the definition of assault weapon. You don't need to do anything else. Give the Cali Key a look, because with it, you could retain all your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales as an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, enhance long-range precision and quiet or suppressed shooting. Cali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website and supports grassroots Second Amendment organizations with its sales. Cali Key's mission is to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. Go to calikey.com and use the discount code LOADED. All right. So I wanted to get to a couple things here before we run out of time. So much. Anything else on that you want to hit? Any last?
You're going to post, what's her name? Ilhan?
What about?
Post her OnlyFans page address up so people can give her money to increase her net worth.
She's inbred.
She's inbred. I guess a lot of them are inbred. That's
why she's mentally retarded.
They're so weird looking.
Well, she doesn't sound like she's unintelligent. It just sounds like she's.
I like how she said she has college. No, she doesn't. It was all free.
I guess the thing that really annoys is the arrogance.
No, it was free.
Just the arrogance.
Yeah,
She acts like she's so above all of it. And then the personal insults. So that reporter from Lindell TV, whatever her name is, I thought she was great. But just the idea that she'd call her stupid and silly and make all these, anyway. But she's not the only one. Okay, so congressional Democrats have proven time and time again that they simply can't be trusted. Ilhan is just one of them. Yet they continue to deceive the public. Unfortunately, in America, a portion of our society is brain dead and continue to vote for the most despicable people on the planet. From the Somali fraudster Ilhan Omar to the trashy Jasmine Crockett, the left seems to embrace the most disgusting politicians.
The hallway hood rat.
She's lovely as well.
Because it's important that for these fraudsters to appeal to different ethnic and racial groups after creating division among Americans, they feel the need to pretend to relate to whichever group that's important to them at the time.
She has like 25 different accents.
It's like Hillary.
Here's a montage clip from our friend Trish Regan showing the dishonesty Crockett used to pander to those who were dumb enough to vote for her.
Actually, what they are fearful of is my authenticity, because it rings true with every single American. No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. Baby, because these people, they are crazy, because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things on campus mailboxes. And at that time, my school hired the Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me. You're not. We done picking cotton.
Nobody's making you pick
You ain't never picked no cotton.
You can't pay us enough to find a plantation. I want the American people to know that when you stand up to a bully, you win. Do not back down. Do not bend.
This is that
and I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right? But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I am authentic.
Oh, yeah, she's authentic, all right.
Yeah, okay. I saw like 8 different personalities there.
What a
like Sybil
dirtbag. How could? Well, she's gone, right? I think she's gone.
She's up in November.
Oh, what a freaking dirtbag. But that's just the point is, no matter whoever they need for votes, that's who they try to appeal to.
Well, now, see, I've seen that happen in private. I was at a band once with a black gentleman who was awesome. When he was with the band, spoke completely
You're a white
normal.
guy.
I went to his house one day. I walked in. I couldn't understand what anybody was saying. It was so weird. But that was just in his house with his family. It wasn't out in
Ebonics.
public.
You don't understand
It's called
Ebonics.
code switching.
Yeah.
What,
code
Danny
switching,
said,
right.
what is it?
It's code switching.
Code switching.
Code switching.
Yeah. I get it, but I don't know. Do we do that?
No.
I don't think
I don't think
do that.
I try to be aware. People always say, "Oh, you don't understand your own bias." I go, "Well, I try to be. I know I have biases. I usually can explain why I have a bias." But
I don't hang out with the band like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?" I go to your house and say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Nobody does that.
You don't talk different when you're playing with a band.
No.
Just turns his hat sideways.
I think we. I mean, as
Doesn't
far
make
as
sense.
us three goes, I think we talk the way we talk all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yes.
it's like when you go to a foreign country and you stay there for a while,
Danny Wos Jr.
you start picking up the like that accent.
Oh
If
yeah.
you stay
Even
in-
if you go south in the United States, you come back with a drawl a lot of times.
Yeah, but Danny, that's more of a conditioned thing, right? Wouldn't that take a while? You get conditioned.
Yeah.
Not a switch.
It's not a switch like that, right?
Yeah, no, what she's doing is intentional. It's a very political thing. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
I've been watching Veep lately, and it's like, I'm not sure how accurate it, but I assume it would be.
What is it?
Veep.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the show, she was
yeah.
vice president.
And it's just everyone, like they're all like the first clip with Ilhan Omar's walking down the hallway, and she's just ignoring the reporter with her staff, and they're smiling. They're talking about nothing. Like I guarantee right before she's like, just pretend that we're talking about something.
Right. You pretend we're busy. Pretend
makes
we're
sense.
involved in conversation.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was a crook.
Thank
in
you, Danny
public,
Wos
being
Jr. That's
confronted.
our producer, by the way.
She's a crook.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
She's. Oh boy.
She's a brother humper.
Okay.
It's just a good thing that the earth is flat. We don't have to worry about all this stuff.
Well, we definitely have something else we got to talk about. How much time do we have, Danny? Oh my gosh, we don't have much time. Okay, we got to get to it real quick. The Southern Poverty Law Center. Boy, these dirtbags. Okay, so SPLC's $520,000 per year CEO helped turn civil rights group into a partisan smear machine. Why don't we just play? We don't have much time, so let's just play that clip and we'll talk about it real quick.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist
Black Lives
groups and
Matter.
conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more. This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years. In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front. Now, as the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing. Not dismantling extremism, but funding it.
Yeah. Creating it. There's this racism that we hear so much about, it just doesn't exist. So they have to manufacture it. It's so sick. Go ahead.
They must be lying, though. You can't believe them.
The Aryan Nation, blah, 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 motorcycle club. Well, they ride around with hoods on their head?
Where are these? How come I never see the Ku Klux Klan?
They don't exist.
Dan, you're a racist.
They're not
You're
even
denying
around.
that you know all these people. All
Yeah,
of our friends, when we get together, we talk
We
about
go to the
all
meetings,
this
we go-
racist
right.
stuff, smoke cigars,
Yep.
make up stories about people. That's how people think
This
that we
stuff,
are.
I gotta say this because this is so it's so stupid that we even play this game of racism. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
If there is any racism in this world, it's in very small pockets. It's very minuscule and tiny. But the political left has decided that they're going to use racism to win elections. And when they find that there's no racism, they have to create it. Right? So they can fight against it. What a bunch of crap. Go ahead.
Scumbaggetry.
Just it's like now you got black people saying they want to exterminate the white man.
Well, there's more black against white racism than there is white against black racism.
Who kills all the young black men? Not white men. It's
That's your fault.
It's their own community. And how many black conservatives are out there right now, though, talking about this kind of stuff? Like, this is all that's going on. We got to talk about the reality of what's happening.
And here's the real shame of it all. I know so many great black people.
Me too.
And they're getting tarnished. Black people are getting tarnished as a whole because of Democrats creating all this racial BS.
Right, because they're the ones that make the labels. Oh, you're this, you're this kind of person. You're this kind of person.
Yeah.
You're stupid if you're this. If you believe this, then you're a traitor. It's just insane.
If we ever went on TV and said we need to exterminate the black population, we would be lambasted. But they get on TV all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what I say? Go F yourself. I don't care what you think. I don't.
I don't really care what they think, but what happens is it does change the perception in society.
Well, plus, most black people don't even agree with them.
Right.
It's the same
I
as
know,
but they
it's
won't
the same
say
as the
it, though.
gay agenda. White liberals have taken on these causes that nobody asked them to take on.
Right, and
there's there's no group of gays petitioning Congress people to do this stuff.
It's every group. It's gay. Like we know gay people. We know, and they're fantastic people, good people. I don't care when you turn the lights out, what happens? That's none of my business. I don't want to know.
Just keep it like heterosexuals do. Who cares? Just mind your business.
We don't talk about it.
Nobody wants to know.
But what happens? The Democrats have created all this nonsense around this LGBT, all this stuff, all the tranny
There's so
stuff.
many freaking letters now. It's longer than the
You
alphabet.
can't I don't even know what it is.
There's even numbers in there now.
There's
Plus
no-
1, 2, 5. What the hell is that? What are we doing?
my
Decimals
God.
now? I wrote. No, I mean, they say, oh, they're disrespecting our flag. It's not a flag.
God.
It's a banner.
This is ridiculous.
We only have one flag in this country. and it's the
Democrats are
American
ruining the
flag.
world. No, they're ruining it. They're ruining everything.
I agree.
They're ruining everything.
Scumbaggetry.
You can't touch anything. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks, guys. Good show. Thanks for watching on Rumble, YouTube, and all our podcast platforms. You can check us out on the Spreely Network at Spreely.com. And my name is Dan Wos. Don't forget, the Second Amendment is not a privilege, it's your right.